disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come, and the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer." While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd, armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priest and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them, "The one I kiss is the man, arrest him." And going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him.
Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you came here to do." Immediately they stepped forward and seized Jesus. He said to the crowd, "Have you come with swords and clubs to capture me? Day by day I sat in the courts of the temple teaching, and yet you did not arrest me. But all of this has taken place so that the writings of the prophets may be fulfilled." Then all the disciples deserted Jesus and fled.
And then seizing him, they led him away and took him to the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance. And when some there had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and had sat down together, Peter sat down with them. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, "This man was with him." But he denied it. "Woman, I don't know him," he said. A little later, someone else saw him and said, "You are one of them." "Man, I am not," Peter replied. About an hour later, another asserted, "Certainly this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean." And Peter replied, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about." And just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. And then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him. "Before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly.
Ashamed of what I've done, what I've become. These hands are dirty. I dare not lift them up to the Holy One. You plead my cause. You right my wrongs. You break my chains. You overcome. You gave your life to give me mine. You say that I am free. How can it be? How can it be? I've been hiding, afraid I've let you down. Inside I doubt that you still love me. But in your eyes there's only grace now. You plead my cause, you right my wrongs, you break my chains, you overcome,
At daybreak, the council of the elders of the people, both the chief priests and the teachers of the law, met together, and Jesus was led before them. "If you are the Messiah," they said, "tell us." Jesus answered, "If I tell you, you will not believe me. And if I asked you, you would not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the mighty God." They all asked, "Are you then the Son of God?" He replied, "You say that I am." Then they said, "Why do we need any more testimony? We have heard it from his own lips."
Then the whole assembly rose and led him off to Pilate. But Pilate said to the chief priests and crowds, "I find no basis for a charge against this man." But they were insistent. Pilate, after learning that Jesus was under Herod's jurisdiction, sent him to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at that time. Then Herod and his soldiers ridiculed and mocked him. Dressed him in an elegant robe, they sent him back to Pilate. Pilate called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people, and said to them, "You brought me this man as one who was inciting the people to rebellion. I have examined him in your presence and have found no basis for your charges against him. Neither has Herod, for he sent him back to us. As you can see, he has done nothing to deserve death. Therefore, I will punish him and then release him."
But the whole crowd shouted, "Away with this man! Release Barabbas to us!" And wanting to release Jesus, Pilate appealed to them again, but they kept shouting, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" And their shouts eventually prevailed, and Pilate decided to grant their demand. He released the man who had been thrown into prison for insurrection and murder, the one they asked for, and surrendered Jesus to their will.
To
arrived at the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there along with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." One of the criminals kept deriding Jesus. "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God? We have been punished justly and are getting what we deserve, but this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus answered him, "Today you will be with me in paradise."
It was now about noon, and darkness swept over the whole land. The curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." When he had said this, he breathed his last.